Well, good morning. Well, it's early morning for me anyway. So I do have to be slightly quiet because it is quite early in the morning. It is approximately almost 5:30 a.m. Coffee all the way. So I decided to talk about the women's organization I ran. So here we go. The specific purpose of this speech is to inform of the women's organization of Iran. By showing this organization, this is now has been disabled organization may show the life before the Iran evolution. Throughout a time, a woman has had a short end of the stick when it came to having equality as a man. In Iran, they had difficulties as well. There are several organizations for the purpose of women, but the Women of Organization of Iran has more of a legendary path due to their high amount of people involved that led to the greatest accomplishments. The objective of the speech is to inform of a women's focused organization that showed several women coming together for a greater purpose in life. As a woman myself who has seen and experienced the equality that others have experienced at one time or another, I could not imagine the stresses that these women in Iran has dealt with, but yet they decided to be brave and instead. Main points. Number 1. History of Women's Organization of Iran. The organization began in 1966 with more than 5,000 members as the attendee, with different backgrounds. Who began the organization? Well, the organization wasn't begun by one individual person. It was 5,000 people who voted for 50 people to be trustees. And then they also voted for a president to guide them through focuses on goals. Who were they? Well, with these trustees, they had different roles to play, but I was able to find some of the names from the original organization site. I will try to say their names, for it is a different country, so I'm not used to saying these kind of names before. Mahaz Mohami, Azar Nafisi, Za Velazo, COMM Kolegim, Gholam, Reza, Golsorkhi, and Hormoz Hekmat. And why did it begin? The best words were a statement to this question from one of the members themselves. I quote, "We, Iranian women, ought to be asked to accept total responsibility for the home while holding a full-time job outside the home. Women should not be asked either to do both jobs or to give life outside the home. We are each other's whole being. We complete themselves, and we are half and nothing and no one." Wow. The purpose. Well, the purpose of this organization was to bring more equality to women themselves, and equal opportunities to women. The first elected president. With the members voting, they voted for a president as well. They voted for the Princess Azar, the twin sister of the Shahad of the Iran at the time being. Well, that makes sense. She was born. Okay. Sorry, there was a worm on the floor. Since it makes sense because she was born in the spotlight, under a lot of stresses of being the twin sister of the prince. She was a princess who fought for the rights of women and led to great success for the organization with her light of focus. What did the organization do? Well, the organization focused on creating research projects that helped cause which led to the act being enacted. How did the organization function? The organization functioned basically on meetings and communication with other women and understand what their actual goals needed to be. The committees in different subjects. There were several departments such as Department of English, the Central Council, and the High Council. Their accomplishments of enacting the Family Protection Law of 1975. The act has since been disabled, but at the time of publishing the act, it was legendary, for it gave women more rights to having divorces. The summary of the act. The summary of the Act guidelines of women filing their divorce papers while addressing the topic of abortion by saying, and I quote, "Abortion was able to be legal by the consent of the husband. Unmarried women were able to have an abortion on the demand of the 8th week." So, there's also a research on women. It was conducted for the help of the science to help build their own cases. Their results, and I quote again, "General social improvement, that the reverse was not true, such as mechanicism of agriculture resulting in decreased financial and material standing for farm women because of the cross of new methods for men." The end of the organization, part 3. Sadly, as good things must come to an end, the organization went against the religion of Islam. The Iran Evolution was a movement that took over the monarchy government and then turned it into a religious movement, which the Women's Organization of Iran went against almost everything the entire evolution went for. So, how did that affect the organization? Well, out of safety, they had to be disabled, so they can no longer work together for the improvement of women themselves. Who occurred after the disbursement? There were several women being focused under the government, so out of safety, they had to blend in and join the government for the safety of their families and friends. Left behind. This organization left a big mark on several women at the time. A lot of women nowadays don't even remember what the organization even stands for. But they still made a bunch of accomplishments behind those make a person hope for a better future. The hope that is possibility of one day having an equal Iran with more opportunities in their personal and work lives. Even though the organization may not be in full running anymore, but it still left a mark on their culture and behaviors for the time. But out of fear of the Iran evolution, they had to be disabled for their safety of friends and family. As in this speech, we have discussed the beginnings, the high points of the organization, and the abrupt ending. It still accomplished several goals that many people dreamed of doing. Such an act of bravery, commitment, and loyalty. In Iran, they can only dream of a life like that today. A lot of women, there's nothing wrong with believing in the religion, but there's still some women in Iran that believe they should have free rights to go to sports games. They should be able to go wherever they go without a man, first off, and be able to have divorces once again and having more of a legal right with abortions. That is not, all the things I have just said have all been troubles that all women have struggled for the last several years. Thank you.